Not gonna lie, Niri's overview is actually pretty freaking clean, and there's a way to get it on Hyprland as well, which is exactly what I will be showing you in this video. So to get started, the first thing that you want to do is open your web browser because we're going to be going to a GitHub plugin, okay? To a Hyprland plugin that's on GitHub. It's basically this one by Yayu, and it's called Hyprland Scroll Overview. This one is a scroll overview plugin just like Niri. It's based on the scroll overview branch of hyperxpo. So if you have been using Hyprland for what, a year or two now, there was a plugin that used to exist called hyperxpo. Now this thing was the original overview plugin that you used to use because you did not have the scroll overview plugin back then, okay? And this one, the older one, it did not have as many features, or it just wasn't as pretty as the one that you're seeing right over here. This one has lots of animations, and also you can actually control the layout as well as a bunch of other aspects about it as well. Whereas hyperxpo was just a very simple kind of overview plugin that basically only showed you a bunch of little boxes, which were your workspaces. So if you had something like 9 workspaces or so, that's what it would show you. And not just that, but because it wasn't maintained and developed, very extensively, it had a lot of bugs. So yeah, we have now since then evolved to something that's much more higher quality and something that you can actually use day to day. Okay, so to install it is pretty simple. You have to make sure to use hyprpm and you can install it that way. So let me open a terminal and I'll show you. So here, first thing you're supposed to do is add the plugin repository. So just add it, copy, and you can paste it, enter your password. I'll type that in. So mine fails because obviously the repository is already installed. For you, it's just going to work just fine, no problems. So if you get an error that says you need to update hyprpm, run hyprpm update in order to update the Hyprland headers, just go ahead and do that, and then you will be able to add this particular plugin repository. So once you're done with that, you have to then update. So build and fetch dependencies, which you do by running hyprpm update. Now also, if you're using the git build of Hyprland instead, you're supposed to add the plugin from the new release branch instead. This way you get more updates and basically everything is synced up. Sometimes what happens is the .so files, the library files, those can, get out of sync, which basically means that you're not going to be able to build the plugin properly, which means that you won't be able to use it. So in order to avoid any errors like that, just make sure to be on the particular branch that you're actually supposed to be on. So for my case, that's going to be on the main branch, and that's that. Okay, so next thing you run is hyprpm update. Let me just run that for you as well. Okay, then it's going to just go ahead and check for updates for every single plugin that you have installed. It's going to do that. Okay, now I have hyperglass as well, which I covered in another video, which is basically liquid glass on Hyprland. Now, there's actually a reason why I don't have it enabled right now, which is for performance reasons. Now, as pretty as it looks, it's really fun and satisfying to have it on for some time. Okay, not for the entirety of your workday or just running all the time, because the thing about that is, if you don't configure it properly, it's going to end up blurring every single window and every single surface, including the ones that you can't see, which means that it's going to have a very significant impact on performance, and not exactly in a positive way. It's just going to end up slowing everything down, which is not what you want. So I just turned it off and I noticed the performance benefits are definitely there with having the plugin off instead of keeping it on all the time. And that's especially, that became visible to me when I was switching workspaces. When I had the Hyperglass plugin enabled previously, okay, it used to be not as smooth as what you're seeing right over here. I have a high refresh rate display, so it's even smoother. But yeah, in that case, I should really be able to tell, and I was, so that's why I disabled it. Anyway, now, next thing you do is just enable this plugin. Type your password, and then the plugin is enabled. Now, we're not done yet because we still have a little more configuration to do. And then once we're done with that, we're basically set. Just go ahead and use this plugin as we see fit. Now, main thing you're supposed to do is, depending on which version of Hyprland that you're on, you have to either go with the Hyperlang configuration syntax or the Lua configuration syntax. So for me, I have migrated all of my configs over to Lua, in which case I am actually able to use this one. Depending on your Hyprland version, you have to use one of the two. So if you're on a Hyprland version before 0.55, then you're supposed to use this thing. Otherwise, if you're using the new Lua syntax like I am, just go ahead and copy this part here and paste it inside of your config. Now I have already done this. I've just basically taken this and then pasted it right over here. Okay, right over here, this part. Just take it and pasted it here, and that's basically all you need. So let me move this here so you can take a better look. Awesome. Okay, now here you have a bunch of different properties that you can configure. I will walk you through this step by step so you can know what does what so that you can configure it on your own. Okay, so to start off with, we have gesture distance. You can basically also use this plugin in conjunction with your trackpad. So if you wanted to use gestures in order to be able to get this overview working, you can control how far you have to actually execute the gesture on your trackpad for the thing to show up. I do have a trackpad, but I have not yet configured the gesture just yet. So for me, I'm just going to leave this by default, like whatever it is. I can also change it if I wanted to. So this is basically how far you have to put your fingers on the trackpad and move it in order for you to actually see something happen on screen. Then you have scale. So this is basically the overview scale. You have 0.1 to 0.9. 0.5 is a perfect sort of middle ground that looks like this. If you were to decrease the scale, what would happen is the windows would become really small and then you can barely read any of the text on there. And what happens if you increase it too much, something like 0.8, is the windows, they only get a little bit smaller, but then you're not actually able to see the other workspaces. In which case you would have to decrease the workspace gap, which brings us to the next setting. This thing is basically the gap between visible workspaces in the overview in pixels. So by default, it's 0, but if you were to change the scale to something like 0.8 and then change workspace gap to something like 50, even then, okay, you start to see a tiny bit of the windows in the next workspace showing up. Apart from that, it's not really much. If you were to decrease to something like 0.7, maybe then you actually start seeing something of the other workspaces. So depending on how much gap you want, you can just choose it, configure it however you like, and that's that. That's what it gives you. Then you have the layout. So as for the overview layout, you have vertical or horizontal. If you go with horizontal, which would technically make sense because most of us were on horizontal workspaces, like our workspaces don't go up and down, they go side to side. Okay, this is what would make sense. Now in this case, you're going to have to use your arrow keys to navigate because there's another setting that you have to use in order to get the mouse working. But I will leave that to you to figure out because really you can use your keyboard and just get away with it. It's not like you're going to be using the mouse all the time. And besides, if you use vertical for the layout instead, you can just use the scroll wheel as normal. So that's not really that big of a deal. Great. Then we have wallpaper. So this thing, it's best if I just show you what each setting does. So 0 means you have the global wallpaper only. So this is my particular wallpaper. Let's say I wanted to change it. Okay, let's change the wallpaper to something like this mountain one. And there you go, wallpaper changed. Fantastic. If I do this, there you go. This is what you see. Oh, and by the way, if you want to learn how to make a Quickshell shell like the one that you're seeing right over here with a custom theme switcher, as well as a wallpaper switcher and everything else that you're seeing that is part of the shell, you can go ahead and click the second link in the description and check out hyprctl Max. It's the only program on the internet that teaches you exactly how you can make fantastic looking shells exactly like the one that you're seeing over here. Doesn't matter even if you don't have a CS degree. It doesn't matter even if you have zero programming experience, because I take you from start to finish making a setup like this all on your own without using any outside help whatsoever. So if that's something that you want to do yourself, you can go ahead, click the second link in the description right now and check out hyprctl Max. Sweet. So let's get the wallpaper back to what it was before. And yeah, this is basically the setting on 0. So if I change it to 1, which is per workspace only, so you have wallpapers, except they are per workspace only, and you don't have rounded corners for any of the workspaces, and basically you're just lacking the background. That's it. If you change it to 2, I don't know why you would use this, but you have a wallpaper for not only each workspace, but for the global thing as well, just in case. So that's what you can do. Best case is to just leave it 0, which is global only. That's good. Then you have blur. Now this one, the setting right now is actually a little bit broken. It's not behaving the way that it's supposed to because you see all these artifacts. Now, technically, you might be able to fix it by running hyprctl clients or hyprctl layers, figuring out what layer is actually causing this, and then change ignore alpha to that. But then if you do that, you might as well be just, getting rid of the blur entirely, which is not what you want. So you just got to wait for the developers to iron out this particular kink. That's it. For now, I'm just going to leave blur disabled. Then you have subcategory input. Now these these settings are basically just for controlling how you interact with the overview itself. Now, for most of us, we're not going to be touching any one of these. So if you feel like you want to change the way that you actually interact with the overview plugin, you can go ahead and do that with this subcategory over here. Pretty simple to configure. So just like you have scroll overview over here. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, never mind. It works. So inside of this particular plugin, you just have to go over here, add an input as a section, and then change whatever settings that you want to. So let's say scroll event delay or touchpad, scroll factor, scrolling mode, drag mode. Okay, scrolling mode. Let's just change one setting so you see what it does. Well, this thing is mouse wheel behavior. 0 means layout aware. This is default. 1 means inverted. 2, vertical scroll changes workspace and horizontal scroll changes columns. And 3, vertical scroll changes columns and horizontal scroll changes workspace. Now, okay, never mind, because I do not actually have a horizontal scroll wheel, so I cannot show you this properly. But you get the drill, right? You get the idea. You can just use this particular subcategory to configure whatever you have to about the input. Now, for shadow, I was messing around with the shadow settings, okay? And they too seem to be very broken. So to show you what the shadows would look like, ideally they're not supposed to look like this, okay? This seems like the render power of the shadow has been just increased and raised up like completely because the shadows, they look sharp. And yeah, I guess it kind of looks right because technically you're taking the entire workspace and then you're putting it on this overview. I mean, it does have a shadow right here, but I'm not so sure that this is exactly the kind of behavior that you would want. And even if it was the kind of behavior that you would want, it's like you don't have any rounded corners, so it doesn't even make sense to keep it around because it doesn't look as pretty. So yeah, if you wanted to keep the default shadow settings that you have in decorations, for example, you can also do that, which is what you're seeing here. This is basically my window shadows that's been put onto this particular workspace on every single workspace from here. That's fine. And yeah, I guess that's it. Although I did not personally like the way the shadows looked because they just end up looking broken. So I'm going to just turn that to false. The main issues the developers have to fix, to be honest, is just the blur one, the blur thing, and maybe add in a setting to actually allow you to change the background. So if I change this to 1, I change it to 1, you see this background here? If we could get a setting to change this background to whatever color that we wanted, that would actually be pretty sweet because then you can change the background color depending on whatever theme that you have, and that would be very nice. That would be a fantastic touch to an already amazing plugin. Then let's see. As for the binding, of course, I hadn't shown you that yet, so this is all just the configuration part. As for the binding, let's go over here so I can show you my binds. Yeah. As for overview, you just have to copy this part and then paste it here. I've just changed mine to main mod plus q. It's going to execute a function which executes hl plugin scroll overview toggle all. That's it. That's all it does. Now this toggle all part, I'm pretty sure this is a dispatcher, which you can see more dispatchers over here. Toggle, you can toggle monitor or all. Selects the workspace under the cursor, so you can add this to a keybind and then run something like hl plugin scroll overview. Okay, dot overview, and then inside of these brackets, inside of these quotes, you can put in select. So let's say I have something like, okay, I don't know what example bind you would pick for that particular setting, but you can do that, and then it would select the workspace under the cursor. So by default, I'm guessing it's enter. Okay, enter does not work, but yeah, you can set it up to enter. That's that. And then here we have submaps. Okay, so I have covered submaps in a previous video, but basically what a submap is on Hyprland is it's kind of a mode. It's basically a mode that allows you to execute, or not execute, but actually just use certain binds that would actually be responsible for certain other things by default. So let's say I have a resize submap, okay? So by default, my arrow keys, if I press my main mod key and my arrow keys, okay, it switches focus between the different windows. But let's say I make a submap called resize, and then I change the binds inside of that submap to be that I'm using my main mod key and my arrow keys to actually resize the windows. Then of course the windows are going to be resized. That's how a submap works. So in this case, you can use a submap in order to control what you're actually doing inside of the overview. So here, if you just press the left arrow key, it's going to navigate left. Okay, if you press right, it's going to navigate right. So just in case you have, workspaces that are left or right to the thing. Okay. No, not that, but okay, where exactly would you use this? Let me properly articulate it for you. Okay. Yeah. Left and right. This is where you'd use these two when you have windows in the horizontal layout. So if I change the layout back to horizontal here, you will notice that the windows are one here and then one here, okay, the workspaces. And that is exactly where you would use this particular thing. Along with all of the others, this is basically going to be part of a submap, which gets activated when you press a certain keybind. So let's say I press Win, Alt, and then R. That would be to activate the resize submap, or in this case, if I wanted it to be for the scroll overview, that particular submap, I could just press Win Alt Q, and then it would pull that up, and then I could make whatever changes I wanted to, and then back out of it. But I will not be showing you how to do that in this video because it's more complication than most people are willing to take on. Even if you do want to take it on, then definitely you can go ahead. But to be honest, this plugin is one of the very few plugins that you can find that are just built to work right out of the box, like perfectly. You barely need any extra configuration at all. And whatever you do need, it's more of something like a very small quality of life improvement. It's not like it's going to completely revolutionize the way that you operate with your machine if you were to use submaps for this particular plugin. So I personally am not using it, so I'm going to leave it out here. As for gestures, well, this one, pretty simple to configure. If you have a gestures.lua file, or if you're putting everything inside of one file, just copy this and you paste it. You can configure the fingers, how many fingers you use for the gesture. Somehow you can go up to 9 fingers, so there's that. Then you have direction. So this is the swipe direction, up, down, left, or right. Then action, this is overview to register, and unset to remove. So if you wanted to swipe up with 3 fingers to actually register the overview, you can do that. And then action, if you wanted to unset, if you wanted to basically swipe down with 3 fingers to go back to whatever it was before, that's how you do that. Pretty sure that's how it works. You have mod, this is the modifier mask held during the gesture. So just in case you were scrolling with 3 fingers on whatever app and then that was registering it, you don't want the plugin to get in the way of that. So you have to actually hold a key to make the gesture possible, which is the mod key. Then you have the scale, which is the gesture delta scale. So basically how far you're supposed to move along the trackpad. This is a very useful setting to configure depending on the size of the trackpad that you have. And then you have disable inhibit, which is fire the gesture even when an app inhibits gestures. That's that. You can try it out and let me know how it works down in the comments for this particular one if you're using gestures. Okay, then for other Lua examples, you can set the layout per monitor before opening the overview. So let's say I have 2 monitors on DP1. This is the main one. On this one, I want the vertical, and on the other one, my EDP one, I want the horizontal layout. I can do that with this particular syntax. And then of course you have the dispatchers, which I have covered one of them, toggle all. That's what this is doing here. Then close monitor, close. You can either make it monitor or all. Close every overview by default or only the named monitor. That's fine. You can also do this with a keybind, by the way. And you have off. This is the same as close. Disable is the same as off. You have open. So open on the active monitor, a named monitor, or every monitor. So instead of toggling, you can just open it here. Okay. Or, oh, never mind. This is actually only going to open the overview. It's not actually going to toggle it. So the best thing for you to open and close with one keybind on one particular monitor is going to be using toggle. So toggle, and then monitor, you just pass in the monitor. That's it. Then on, this is the same as open, and then enable is the same as on. And here, for example, toggle DP1 targets only DP1, while toggle all opens all missing overviews or closes them when they're all already open. Bear toggle still targets only the active monitor, and a bear closes all open overviews. Pretty simple stuff. Then as for navigate, this is currently overview. Okay, overview. Ta-da. If you wanted to change the stuff when it comes to navigation, left, right, up, down, then window, select or close. Focus or select the window under the mouse cursor. Close is going to close the window under the mouse cursor. And choose separate binds for this stuff. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know about how to get a Niri style overview on Hyprland. If you have not yet migrated to the Lua syntax, by the way, I have a program that helps you out with that. It's called hyprctl. It's the program that's the first link in the description. It teaches you all the basics to get up and running with Hyprland, even if you're a complete beginner. And if you want to learn how to make Quickshell look like this, as fantastic and as sexy as this, then go ahead, click the second link in the description and check out hyprctl Max. If you liked the video, hit like if you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed. Hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay racing. Mwah.